Awning replacement 2.0. This is a Sun Chaser 12-foot awning, about 12 years old. That was roached in Assateague, Maryland by a developing hurricane. Now, from all the videos I watched to replace this awning, there's got to be a better way, because it just seems like it's too much taking everything apart and putting it all back together. So I've had about a month to think about this and come up with a better solution. We're going to replace the awning while it's on the rig, and one person can do it. Now what we're going to do is, you see this little hole down here with the drill bit in it. That is the channel for the awning. But they only made one of these for some reason and not a second one up here. What we're going to do is create a second one up here and mimic this. But before we do that, before we take some strength out of here, we're going to add strength here and down here with these two rivets. That way we won't get a crack across here. Technically, I think they should have done all these tracks. There's a third one here for the LED light. Right there. And that one doesn't have a hole in it either. So that's what we're going to do with this. Now, this awning was roached while it was down, so it's preloaded. From the other videos I've seen, some do 9 turns, some do 10 turns. But because this thing is 12 years old and it barely went up and kissed the RV, I added an 11th turn to this, because the springs are 12 years old, they're getting weak. So that way you add an extra turn, your railing will go up with vigor. Now the way you can do this lock right here, roll up, roll down. In this position, acts like a ratchet. So you can turn this wheel the amount of turns you need to turn, and this ratchet will click and hold it in position. But I have it taped down now for safety precautions, so that doesn't actually accidentally get released. Now onto the second part. Now that since this thing has no strength this way, just so that I'm going to attach something to the fence and then come over and square it up on this arm down here and then clamp it. That'll give us side-to-side rigidity. I mean, you could have somebody hold it, but it's not as good as being clamped. That'll take care of this. The next thing is, in order to get into that top track up here, we have to get past this clamp. So this clamp is going to have to, those two bolts are going to have to come out. This arm's going to have to drop in order to get into this channel, and then slide down that way. And in order to do that, we're going to have to brace this right here. Hold this up with a ladder or something at 5 foot. Because the important thing to note is, you want to have the awning, the new awning is 7 foot 8 inches from this seam right here, this rope, to that track. So you want to have, let's say like 7'4", maybe 7 foot, to put some slop between here and that track. So when you go to put the awning on, it's not real taut. So I'm going to set up now, and we'll pick up after I get all set up. Okay, it's getting late here, so we got our left arm braced and then clamped. Squared the arm against the rig using a square, and then clamped it in place. Now it can't go anywhere. It can't go side to side, it can't go up and down. Come back over here to this side. We have the 2 rivets installed, drilled, installed, and now this arm is strapped to this ladder. So when we drop that arm, this arm will not go anywhere. All right, so that's what's next. We're gonna disconnect that arm, and then we're gonna make our cut right there. How's that? Okay, so we got our hole cut right there. We have our groove cut using a grinder. If you use any 4.5 grinder, that's fine. Now we freed up this thing to come out of the channel. So now this, out the old, in with the new. Now we have the arm disabled. This arm doesn't like to go down past this angle because just the way it sits right there, so it makes it very vulnerable. So I put this brace in there just to keep any accidental pushing on it. Now we'll go up to the top. We've got the screw out of the channel. Now we can get rid of this. Make sure our channel's elongated. Oh, that's nice. Oh, also important to note that taking out this steel screw out of the aluminum channel, it just broke. Leaving the other end of the screw in the channel, which I, again, had to use the cutter to cut off the remaining of that screw. So if you take that screw out, it's rusty, try and do it by hand, not with an impact like I did. Okay, I'm gonna set up for a time lapse and let's wrap this thing up. Also, after you make this cut, this drill and this cut, you want to take like a small chainsaw file and take off the edges off that cut so it gets nice and smooth. Alright, we don't want to cut the new awning that's going on. Okay, we got it. Now we got the awning on. The channels look good. Arms are looking good. We got the arm put back up there. Always silicone the two bolts before you put them back in. And be careful how tight you tighten them because there's not much meat up there to grab onto. And then also, when you got it down, take these things out, or unscrew these and spray WD-40 up in there. Because these things always get snug. See how nice that spins now? Alright, let's put it up. By the way, if you break that knob, it's a 5mm screw. Alright, where's my steel? Got steel. Alright, let's see how strong this is. Not bad. Not bad. Now I didn't put these screws back on the top yet because we wanted to center it. When you get these locks to snap perfectly, it's centered. And there it is, awning 2.0. So much easier to replace it this way. Good for another 10 years. That's it, people. Enjoy. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll answer them. All the best. See ya. Instead of putting that steel screw back up there to lock it together, I think a better solution is just to use a little bit of silicone, only like an inch. And we're going to lock the thing into its channel. Now that it's all lined up, I'm just going to take some silicone. And lock that channel together. Now for Grandpappy's coping. This way, you just do the ends, do this end, do that end, do that end, do that end. You can roll it up right away and you don't have to worry about the silicone getting on the awning itself. It's enough silicone. What you want to aim for, it's enough silicone to lock it in place, but not too much silicone to make it a nightmare for the next guy who has to work on it. So always design something so you can service it. And then that's it, we're done. Whole thing took about 3 hours. Thought about it for a month. Awning cost $200 online, Amazon. I'll put that somewhere in the comments. But that's it. So much easier than doing it the other way.